The pre-dawn streets of Quezon City breathe differently at 5 a.m. There's a stillness that belongs to the night shift workers, the early commuters, and the jeepney drivers warming up their engines outside Nanay Cora's karinderya. I pedal my old mountain bike through the familiar maze of narrow roads, my laptop bag bouncing against my back with each pothole. My name is Elian Santos, Eli to everyone who matters, and I've just finished another 10-hour shift at QuickPrint 24/7, a copy shop that never sleeps in a city that barely does either. My fingers still smell like toner, and my eyes burn from proofreading legal documents until 4 a.m. But there's something else keeping me awake: excitement. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from, and if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. Last night, while I was collating someone's thesis about urban planning, my phone buzzed with a voice note from Dr. Lila Vergara at East Avenue Medical Center. Her tired but grateful voice played through my earbuds as I pedaled. Elian, your triage tool just helped us reroute 3 oxygen tanks during the brownout. Ward 7 stayed stable because your algorithm predicted the spike in respiratory cases. I don't know how you do it, but salamat talaga. Hello Lab, the tech cooperative I started with my classmates, had pushed another update while Manila slept. Our AI tool, designed to help public hospitals manage resources during emergencies, had worked exactly as we'd hoped. No fanfare, no press release, just lives quietly made better by lines of code written between shifts and study sessions. I coast into our subdivision just as the sun bleeds orange through the smog. Our house sits in the middle of a row of identical concrete boxes, each with a small gate and a prayer that the next typhoon won't flood the first floor again. The kitchen light is already on. Mama Rosa's morning routine begins at dawn. No exceptions. "Good morning, anak," she calls as I lock my bike. She's at the stove, stirring champorado and humming something from Mass. "How was work?" "Same as always, ma." I wash my hands at the sink, watching her move with the efficiency of someone who's fed a family on jeepney driver wages for 25 years. "Busy night." She nods, distracted, then brightens. I almost forgot. Your Kuya Marcos interview aired last night, the one about his NGO internship. I recorded it on my phone. Wait until you see how well he spoke about helping communities during disasters. My stomach tightens, but I smile. Marco, my older brother by 3 years, has always been the golden child. Star athlete in high school, charming speaker, natural leader, everything I'm apparently not. While I debug code at midnight, he attends donor mixers and gives interviews about youth leadership in crisis response. "That's great, Ma. I'm sure he did well." Rosa pulls out her phone, scrolling through videos. "He mentioned how important it is to use technology for good, how young people need to step up." She pauses, looking at me with that expression mothers reserve for gentle corrections. "You know, Elian, you're graduating soon too. Maybe you could learn from your kuya about speaking up more, being visible." Being visible. I think of Dr. Lila's voice note, of the oxygen that reached Ward 7, of Sachi's text from last night. "We got shortlisted for the Commencement Impact Citation. Anonymous benefactor stays anonymous. You good with that?" I replied yes without hesitation. My phone buzzes again. Another text from Sachi. "Coffee? Heard something weird about the NGO internship placements." I grab a piece of pandesal and my laptop bag. "I'll be at campus early today, Ma. Tell Papa I said hi when he gets back from dispatch." As I head toward the jeepney terminal, I think about Mango, the orange tabby who lives in the engineering building. Last night, while I was debugging the triage algorithm on a bench outside the computer lab, he'd appeared from nowhere and settled beside my feet. a small, steady presence in the fluorescent-lit darkness. Sometimes I wonder if being invisible isn't so bad. The work speaks for itself after all. But as I climb onto a jeepney bound for UP Diliman, Sachi's text keeps nagging at me. Something weird about internship placements. Something that might involve Marco. The jeepney lurches forward and I grip my bag tighter, feeling the weight of my laptop and everything it contains. Commit logs, email threads, the quiet record of who actually builds what in this city where credit often flows upward to the loudest voice.
The academic oval buzzes with the controlled chaos of graduation season. Posters for thesis defenses flap against acacia trees, and clusters of seniors huddle round laptop screens, making final edits to presentations that will determine their futures. I find Sachi and Tori outside the College of Engineering, both looking like they haven't slept. Sachi Tan, my co-founder at Halo Lab, greets me with their usual sardonic smile, but their eyes are sharp with concern. Okay, so remember how Tori was supposed to get that NGO internship, the one with Kapit Bisig Foundation? Tori Alonso nods, clutching a manila folder against her chest. She works the night shift at a call center in Eastwood to support her younger siblings. I know because we've compared notes about surviving on 3 hours of sleep. I scored 94 on the technical assessment, had 3 rounds of interviews. They said I was their top choice. And? I ask, though Sachi's expression already tells me this story doesn't end well. Yesterday, I got an email saying they had to adjust their selection process to accommodate a special candidate. Tori's voice stays steady, but I catch the tremor underneath. Guess who got announced as their new disaster response intern this morning? My stomach drops. Marco. Sachi pulls out her laptop, balancing it on a concrete ledge covered in student organization stickers. I made a spreadsheet. Look at this. Her fingers fly across the trackpad, highlighting columns of data. Application scores, interview ratings, final placements. The numbers don't add up for at least 3 positions that went to connected students instead of the highest scores. I stare at the screen, watching a pattern emerge that makes my chest tighten. Names I recognize, classmates who work multiple jobs, who code until dawn in the computer lab, who deserve every opportunity they can get, replaced by names I know from different circles. Social media posts from rooftop parties, LinkedIn profiles heavy on networking events, light on actual projects. There's more, Tori says, opening her folder. She pulls out printed screenshots, and my blood freezes. Remember the disaster routing module I built for Halo Lab, the one that calculates optimal supply distribution during typhoons. I nod. It was brilliant work. Tori had analyzed 5 years of NDR-RMC data to create predictive models that could save hours in critical response time. This is from Marco's presentation to the Foundation. She shows me a slide deck with familiar flowcharts and code snippets. Same algorithms, same test data, same results, just repackaged under his name. The academic oval suddenly feels too bright, too loud. Students rush past us toward thesis consultations and committee meetings, but I'm stuck staring at Tori's evidence. I remember giving Marco a general overview of our work months ago when he asked about technology applications in disaster response. I thought I was helping him understand our field. Instead, I'd handed him ammunition. Eli, Professor Imani Reyes, materializes beside us, coffee cup in hand, her sharp eyes taking in our huddled conversation. My thesis advisor has an uncanny ability to appear whenever students are wrestling with ethical dilemmas. If you're dealing with attribution issues, remember what I always tell you. Receipts or it didn't happen, Sachi and I say in unison. She nods approvingly. Documentation is your friend. Version control systems, email threads, commit histories, they don't lie even when people do. Her gaze settles on me. The question is, what are you going to do about it? As she walks away, I look at Sachi and Tori, my teammates, my friends, the people who stayed up debugging code while others networked their way to opportunities, the invisible workers who keep the real world running. We audit everything, I say finally. Tonight. If there's a paper trail, we find it.
The Halo Lab war room really is just an unused classroom in the basement of Melcher Hall. But we've made it ours. Whiteboards covered in algorithms, power strips snaking across the floor, and our official mascot Mango, curled up on a stack of old computer manuals. It's past midnight, but the three of us are wide awake, laptops glowing in the fluorescent darkness. Here, Sachi points at their screen, voice tight with controlled anger. Git commit history for the disaster routing module. Look at the timestamps. I lean over, squinting at the terminal output. Tori's commits span 3 months, careful iterations, bug fixes, performance optimizations. Each entry logged with her username and the precise time she pushed changes to our shared repository. Now look at this. Tori pulls up another tab. Marco's presentation is dated 2 weeks ago, but this commit, she highlights a line of code, this exact function with my comment formatting was pushed to a new repo titled Pilot Santos Fellowship the day before his interview. My jaw clenches. He exported your branch.
Not just mine. Sachi navigates to their email client. Check these headers. Rosa Santos introduced Marco to Director Galvez at Capit Bissig. Your dad messaged a board member about family support for a deserving young leader. The evidence builds like a prosecutor's case. Screenshot timestamps that don't match development dates. Code comments in Tori's distinctive style appearing verbatim in Marco's documentation. Email threads showing how family connections open doors that merit alone couldn't. My phone buzzes. Dr. Leela calling at midnight isn't unusual, but tonight it feels ominous. Eli, sorry to call so late. I wanted you to know, the hospital's impact report is being finalized tomorrow. They're officially nominating your anonymous benefactor for the university's commencement impact citation. I exchange glances with Sachi and Tori. The award we'd kept quiet about, the recognition we'd deflected to protect our low-profile approach, was about to thrust us into exactly the spotlight we've avoided. Dr. Leela, about that anonymity. I know you prefer working behind the scenes, but the community needs to see that real change comes from students like you, young people doing the work, not just talking about it. After she hangs up, silence settles over our makeshift lab. Mango stretches and repositions himself closer to my laptop's warmth. So, Sachi says finally, we could out ourselves at graduation, or we could let this slide and watch Marco collect credit for work that displaced our friends. I stare at the commit logs, thinking about Dr. Leela's words. Students like you, young people doing the work. There's a third option, I say slowly. We tell the truth, but we do it right, restorative, not punitive. Tori looks skeptical. What does that mean? It means we give credit where it's due, but we don't destroy anyone in the process. I close my laptop. I need to talk to someone first. The parish courtyard smells like sampaguita and the lingering incense from evening mass. Children practice their steps for Flores de Mayo, their white dresses catching the golden hour light as they weave between pillars. Father Ben Soriano sits on a stone bench beneath the old Nara tree, still wearing his collar but looking more like the guidance counselor he used to be than the priest he became. Eli, he gestures to the space beside him, you sounded troubled on the phone. I've known Father Ben since I was 12, serving as his altar boy alongside Marco during Sunday morning masses. He baptized us both, confirmed us both, and somehow always knew which Santos brother needed gentle correction versus which one needed encouragement to speak up. It's about family, Father, and fairness. I outlined everything, the internship displacement, the appropriated code, the network of favors that lifted Marco while sidelining classmates who earned their opportunities.
Father Ben listens without interruption, occasionally nodding when I mention names he recognizes from the parish. So, the question is, what you want to accomplish. Do you want to win, or do you want to heal? Can't I do both? Telling and preparing this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. His weathered hands fold in his lap. Winning focuses on who's right. Healing focuses on what's right. He watches the children practice their choreography, small missteps corrected with patience. You have evidence, Eli. You have institutional backing waiting if you want it. But what happens after you reveal the truth? I think about Marco's face at the mixer, the panic beneath his deflection when confronted, about Mama Rosa's pride in her elder son's visibility, Papa Nanding's relief that someone in the family was finally making connections. I want the people who earned recognition to get it. I want the system to work fairly, but I don't want to destroy my brother. Then, design your response accordingly. Father Ben stands, brushing dust from his cassock. Credit the overlooked. Correct the record, but leave room for redemption. Walking home, I draft 2 messages on my phone. The first goes to Marco. Coffee tomorrow? Need to clear something before graduation. The second I don't send yet. A respectful but detailed email to Dean Del Rosario. Subject line: Attribution irregularities and proposed solution. Marco's reply comes within minutes. Sure, bro. Everything okay? Before I can respond, Mama calls. Her voice carries that bright, expectant tone that means she's planning something. Anak, you know Marco's donor mixer is this weekend? The one for his NGO program? I was thinking you could come, maybe say a few words about family unity, about how proud we are of each other's successes. I close my eyes, feeling the weight of irony. Ma, about Marco's successes. Oh, you'll love the venue. Rooftop in Pasig, city lights, very professional, perfect for photos.
The call ends before I can finish my sentence. I stare at my phone, thinking about Father Ben's words, winning versus healing, truth with room for redemption. I pull out my laptop and start typing the email to Dean Del Rosario, but this time I include a proposal, a restorative announcement that corrects the record without public humiliation, a way to heal the system while preserving the possibility of healing my family. Some bridges need to be built even as others are being mended. The rooftop bar in Pasig gleams under fairy lights, the Manila skyline sprawling beyond floor-to-ceiling windows. Young professionals in crisp barongs and cocktail dresses mingle around a photo wall showcasing Marco Santos, youth leadership in action. I arrive in my only decent polo, feeling underdressed and overwired, a flash drive burning in my pocket like evidence at a trial. Marco works the room with practiced ease, his smile bright as he poses with donors and foundation executives. Director Galvez from Kapit Bisig raises her champagne flute during the toast, praising Marco's innovative pilot program that's already showing measurable impact in disaster response coordination. I find Marco by the bar during a lull in his meet-and-greet circuit. Kuya, I say quietly, congratulations on the program. Really impressive work. His grin falters slightly. Something in my tone doesn't match the celebration around us. Thanks, Eli. Glad you could make it. I wanted to ask you about the disaster routing module you presented. The algorithm design looked familiar. His hand tightens around his beer bottle. Well, you know, we're family. What's mine is ours, right? Besides, you always said Halo Lab was about community impact, not individual credit. I pull out my phone, showing him a screenshot of Tori's commit history.
her username, her timestamps, her exact code comments appearing in his presentation slides. This isn't about community credit, Marco. This is about Tori losing an internship she earned so you could present her work as your own. His face goes pale under the warm lighting. Eli, you don't understand the pressure I'm under. After the injury, after basketball ended, this is all I have. I can't go back to being nobody. So you made her nobody instead. It's not like that. Kuya Eli, Papa Nanding appears beside us, slightly drunk and beaming with pride. He drapes an arm around my shoulders, pulling me toward a group of donors. This is Marco's younger brother, the studious one. Not as outgoing as our Marco here, but smart, very smart. He launches into his familiar routine about Marco being the leader our name deserves, about natural charisma opening doors that grades alone cannot. The donors nod politely, occasionally glancing at me with the kind of smile reserved for supporting characters in other people's success stories. Marco watches from across the circle, his earlier panic replaced by resignation. He knows I have the evidence. He knows what I could say right now, in front of everyone who matters to his carefully constructed image. I catch his eye and shake my head slightly. Not here. Not like this. Papa's right, I tell the donors. Marco's always been good at bringing people together. That's a real gift. Later, as the party winds down and guests filter toward the elevator, Marco corners me by the windows overlooking the city. Why didn't you out me in there? I look at the lights below. Millions of people working, striving, most of them invisible to the rooms like this one. Because destroying you won't fix the system that let this happen. So what now? I head toward the exit. Now you decide whether you want to be part of the solution or part of the problem. Morning rain streaks the windows of Dean Arturo del Rosario's office, turning the view of the academic oval into an impressionist blur. Professor Reyes sits beside me at the mahogany conference table, her laptop open to a meticulously organized folder labeled Attribution Documentation, Halo Lab Case Study. Dean Arturo del Rosario adjusts his reading glasses, scanning through printed commit logs with the methodical attention of someone who built his career on statistical analysis before moving into administration. These timestamps are quite damning. 17 instances of direct code appropriation, Professor Reyes confirms, clicking through side-by-side comparisons, plus email evidence showing how family connections bypassed merit-based selection processes for at least 4 internship positions. I lean forward. Dean, I'm not here to destroy anyone's reputation. I'm proposing a solution that restores proper attribution while allowing everyone to move forward constructively. His eyebrows rise. I'm listening. Keep the anonymous benefactor tradition for the commencement impact citation, but reveal the actual team members on stage. Display the real contributor names and commit history. Retroactively restore the internship placements based on original merit scores. I'd give a brief response focused on crediting overlooked teammates, no call-outs, no public shaming, just setting the record straight.
The dean tests for liability concerns, potential media fallout, family drama spillover. Then his desk phone rings. Dr. Lila Vergara, joining by speaker from the hospital. Dean Del Rosario, I wanted to emphasize the clinical impact these students achieved. Their tool prevented 3 potential equipment shortages during last month's brownouts alone. The recognition should go to the actual developers, not whoever happened to present their work most publicly. Her voice carries the authority of someone who's seen policies save or cost lives. These students, Eli, Sachi, Tori, and the others, they represent exactly the kind of ethical innovation your university should celebrate. After she disconnects, the dean leans back in his leather chair. This requires legal review, but I like the restorative approach. You're giving people a chance to do the right thing rather than just exposing who did the wrong thing. Prof. Reyes nods approvingly. Eli, you'll need to prepare for family pushback. They may see this as betrayal rather than boundary setting. I know. I think about Marco's panicked face at the mixer,
Mama Rosa's pride and her golden child, Papa Nanding's dreams of family prominence. I'm not hiding, Papa. I'm offering a solution. I pull out my phone, showing them the speech draft. The ceremony will credit everyone who contributed to the project. Marco can join our community rollout afterward. As a volunteer teammate, not a figurehead. Real work, real impact. Rosa shakes her head. You want to humiliate us in front of the whole university. What will people say about our family? They'll say we value fairness more than face-saving. The kitchen falls silent, except for the rain. Then Marco speaks, his voice barely above a whisper. Maybe he's right. Before anyone can respond, Father Ben's familiar knock echoes from the front door. Rosa wipes her eyes quickly, no tears for visitors, while Papa Nanding straightens his shoulders. Father, pasok ka, Rosa calls, her voice artificially bright. Father Ben enters carrying a covered container, his gentle smile taking in our tense faces. Buko pie from Aling Marta. Thought you might need something sweet while you work through whatever's troubling this family. He sets the pie on the counter and turns to face us. His presence somehow making our cramped kitchen feel more spacious. I heard there might be some difficult conversations happening. Sometimes the hardest truths are also the most healing ones. He looks directly at Marco. Son, I've watched you grow from altar boy to young man. You have gifts, real ones, but gifts unused honestly become curses, and burdens carried dishonestly become too heavy for anyone to bear. Rosa starts to protest, but Father Ben raises a gentle hand. Rosa, Nanding, your love for your children is beautiful. But love that asks one child to shine brighter by dimming another's light isn't love. It's favoritism, and it hurts everyone. The rain outside grows softer. Father Ben cuts the pie into equal portions, placing them on our mismatched plates. The graduation ceremony is in 2 days. Whatever happens there, this family will still be this family afterward. The question is, what kind of family do you want to be? The campus amphitheater glows under string lights, transformed for tomorrow's ceremony. Maintenance crews arrange chairs in perfect rows, while we huddle around laptops in the wings, fine-tuning the presentation that will either heal or shatter everything I've built.
Sachi's fingers fly across their keyboard, testing the slide automation that will display contributor names and commit histories when Dean Del Rosario announces the citation. Wi-Fi redundancy check. Good. Backup projector connection. Good. Your family's emotional stability. Questionable. Tori laughs nervously, printing name cards for the displaced interns who'll be recognized tomorrow. I still can't believe this is happening. 6 months ago, I was invisible. Tomorrow, I'll be on stage. You were never invisible, I tell her, just overlooked by people who weren't looking hard enough. Professor Reyes appears with her signature coffee cup and a red pen, reviewing my speech one final time. She strikes through a phrase, scribbles a note in the margin. Less apology, more assertion. You earned this moment. Claim it. The speech fits on a single index card now. 90 seconds of gratitude without groveling, boundaries without bitterness, invitation without expectation. I practice it silently while Sachi runs final systems checks. My phone buzzes, a text from an unknown number. Marco's voice note plays through my earbuds. Eli, I've been thinking about what Father Ben said, about gifts becoming curses. I don't know how to fix this, but I want to try. If there's still a seat next to you tomorrow, I'd like to sit there, not as the golden child, not as the family representative, just as your kuya who screwed up and wants to do better. His voice cracks slightly on the last words. I save the message, feeling something tight in my chest finally loosen. Sachi nudges me. Good news? Maybe. I look out at the empty amphitheater, tomorrow's audience existing only in imagination. He wants to sit with us. Think he means it? Before I can answer, Mongo materializes from behind a speaker, settling at my feet with feline indifference to human drama. I scratch behind his ears, feeling the rumble of his purr against my palm. I dreamed about this place last night. Flooded with monsoon rain, everyone scattered, but Mongo was there, perched on something solid, completely unbothered by the chaos. Tori smiles. Maybe that's the point. Stay steady while everything else shifts around you. We pack up our equipment as security guards begin their evening rounds. Tomorrow, this amphitheater will fill with families, faculty, and friends expecting the usual graduation platitudes about bright futures and limitless potential. Instead, they'll get a lesson about earned worth, systematic fairness, and the courage required to love someone enough to hold them accountable. I slide my speech card into my barong pocket next to the flash drive containing 3 years of commit logs that don't lie. The string lights go dark. Tomorrow, other lights will shine. The amphitheater blazes with morning sun and the rustle of barongs and ternos. Paper fans beat against the heat as families fill rows of plastic chairs, cameras ready to capture their children's moment of triumph. I spot Rosa in her best dress, clutching a handkerchief, while Nanding adjusts his formal barong for the 3rd time. Marco sits apart from them, closer to the stage, his face unreadable. Dean Della Rosario steps to the podium as faculty in full academic regalia settle into their ceremonial chairs. The familiar rhythm of commencement begins. Welcome addresses, academic achievements, the slow build toward individual recognition. Then he announces it. Each year, we honor students who demonstrate that education's highest purpose is service to community. This year's Commencement Impact Citation recognizes not an individual, but a cooperative that embodies ethical innovation. His voice carries across the amphitheater. Our anonymous benefactor is revealed today as Halo Lab, a student-led collaborative dedicated to equitable technology solutions. The large screen behind him illuminates with our project dashboard, contributor names, commit timestamps, development timelines. Elian Santos, Sachi Tan, Tori Alonso, and 6 others appear in clean typography alongside the medical impact statistics Dr. Layla provided. I scan the crowd. Rosa's fan has stopped moving. Nanding stares at the screen with something between confusion and recognition dawning. Marco's head is down, but I see him watching through his fingers. Dr. Layla joins the dean on stage, her hospital ID badge catching the light. These students created tools that have prevented equipment shortages, optimized patient flow, and saved critical response time during emergencies. They did this work without fanfare, without credit seeking, simply because it needed doing. The screen changes to show the displaced intern statistics, the corrected internship placements. Tori's name appears beside her disaster routing algorithms, Sachi's contributions to the triage predictions clearly attributed. We're also correcting attribution errors that displaced deserving students from recognition they earned. Effective immediately, these placements will be restored based on merit. Scattered applause grows into sustained recognition. Students cheer for their overlooked classmates finally getting their due. Then, Dean Del Rosario calls my name. The walk to the podium feels both eternal and instantaneous. I pull out my index card, but realize I don't need it. The words I've rehearsed for days dissolve into something more honest.
Thank you. I want to thank my parents for their sacrifices. The night shifts, the jeepney routes, the belief that education could lift our family. I find Rose's face in the crowd. But I also want to set a boundary. Love without fairness breaks people. From today forward, mine will be both. I look toward Marco. Anyone who wants to join our community rollout this Saturday is welcome. As volunteers, as teammates, as partners in the work that actually matters. No titles necessary, just commitment to the community we serve. The applause builds, but I barely hear it. What I see is Rosa wiping her eyes, Nanding nodding slowly, and Marco standing up, walking toward the stage steps where I'll meet him in a few minutes. Sometimes the most important audience is a family of 4. The concrete steps of the amphitheater provide blessed shade from the noon heat. Graduates cluster nearby, taking photos, their families arranging perfect smiles for posterity. But Marco and I sit apart from the celebration. Mango has materialized from somewhere, weaving between our feet with feline indifference to human drama. "I felt empty," Marco says finally, his voice barely audible above the distant congratulations. "After the injury, after basketball ended, I didn't know who I was anymore. So when opportunities came up, I just grabbed them, even if they weren't really mine." I watch a group of engineering students pose with their diplomas, their parents beaming with earned pride. You could have asked for help, real help. I was supposed to be the one helping you, the golden child, the leader, the one carrying our name forward. How do you ask your younger brother to save you from your own mistakes? Before I can answer, Rosa and Nanding appear at the bottom of the steps. Rosa's eyes are red-rimmed but determined, while Nanding looks like he's wrestling with words he's never had to say before. "Eli," Rosa begins, then stops. She sits down beside us, her formal dress spreading across the warm concrete. Nanding remains standing, hands clasped behind his back like he's reporting for duty. I thought leadership meant being the loudest voice, the most visible face. I pushed light toward one child and cast shadow on the other. He looks directly at me. "That wasn't fair to either of you." "We're proud of both our sons," Rosa adds, reaching for Marco's hand, then mine. "But pride shouldn't come at other people's expense." Marco straightens slightly. "About Saturday, the community rollout, I want to be there. Not because I have to, but because I want to learn how to actually help, instead of just looking helpful." A photographer approaches, offering to take our family portrait. Usually, Rosa would fuss with positioning, making sure everyone looks their best for posterity. Instead, she just nods. We arrange ourselves naturally on the steps. No hierarchy, no staging. Just four people who've learned something difficult about love and fairness. The camera captures us as we are, imperfect, honest, willing to do better. Later, as Saturday's hospital rollout unfolds, I watch Marco carry supply boxes up 3 flights of stairs, sweat staining his polo as he listens carefully to Tori explain routing algorithms. Tori staffs the volunteer check-in desk, greeting every student by name. Nanding handles logistics with dispatcher efficiency, making sure equipment reaches where it's needed most. Mango appears one final time, settling on a campus bench in the late afternoon light. I sit beside him, watching my family work alongside my chosen family of Halo Lab teammates. Marco and I share a bottle of water, both of us exhausted, but laughing at something Sachi said about server configurations. This is what victory looks like. Not a single moment of triumph, but the quiet satisfaction of systems working fairly, of credit flowing to earned hands, of love learning to hold space for truth. The work continues, but now it continues with more hands, more hearts, more honest relationships. Some bridges are built by crossing them together. Up next, we have 2 more incredible stories that are waiting for you. Just click the image you want to watch and it will take you there. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe. It would mean a lot.